YouTube's got a quick little video here. And I try to put a lot of these on Twitter. I don't know if they're going. They can only be placed over there as links. Linky poos. So I figured out the method to the madness, I think. All right. So I'm going and I keep checking my comments here for yesterday's live video. Man, I had a video yesterday. I know there's got to be some comments. And so I figured out the method to the madness. For me so far, all my videos the comments are turned on. I've never had to go manually turn the comments on. But if I'm not getting no comments, I go in there, I look at the video. The context of the video was all over the place yesterday. But I hit pretty hard on one subject, is Israel. The whole dealio they're doing in Israel. I'll just be that vague about it because it's just ridiculous at this point. And so, what is this doing? Okay. So, my wife drives me crazy. We get up at the same time this morning, tell her to get your ass up and get ready. I'm telling her all the time, get up and be ready. That way, when I hit you up in the middle of the day, if I'm not middle of the, well, I guess kind of middle of the day, get off early. We still got some moving to do, that you'll be ready. But no, she doesn't ever take my advice. She wants to lag it all day, and she's never ready. Women are never effing ready. So I'll leave that at that. But so it happened maybe a couple weeks ago when I was doing a video, and Irish texted me and said, dude, I was going to leave a comment on your video, but the comments are turned off. And I was like, that's weird. I don't turn off comments on my video. I do a million lives over how many years. I never have ever had to go back in and manually turn the comments back on. And so that was a talk, whether, I don't remember how much I delved into it, but there was hints of Israel in there. And there was lots of it in yesterday's chat. So every chat that I'm doing that has to do with mentioning Israel, I imagine if I was just licking their penises all over a video, there wouldn't be no comments turned off. But if you say anything that is perceived as negative towards our greatest ally, the comments are getting on my videos. I don't know. I'm not on other people's channels. I don't know. But I'm getting my comments turned off. And so a whole day goes by since yesterday. I'm trying to figure out, dude, not even one comment. The last comment I got on a video was 11 days ago. And so sure enough, what up, Vanity? Sure enough, I go in there and the comments are turned off to the video. So that is not me turning off comments to the videos on YouTube. Somebody was saying something yesterday about, I think Twitter being algorithmed out on that particular subject, and I never have any trouble on X. I mean, I'm back to going hog wild, calling everybody faggots on there. So I would say that's not necessarily true. I don't have any troubles on X so far. What up, Goose? So anytime, looks like I'm mentioning those, so I'll have to go back and look at all my videos, see what comments are turned off. What up, the silent one? So if you mention Israel, I guess in a negative light, you're going to get your comments turned off at the very least. I guess I didn't go in there. I wasn't super duper derogatory, but I don't know what 67 is, man. You're just typing it over and over and over and over again as if I know what that is. Who's this? Unk. I'm not anybody's uncle. Maybe I am. I don't know. Might be somebody's daddy, though. But anyways, I just wanted to point that out. It's not really whatever. I mean, we're falling into this totalitarian, super authoritative, I've always argued that there's not that much difference between the statists on the right and the communists on the left. You know, they all are wishing that the government will do their bidding against people. You know, communists want the government to suck everything up and hand out punishment. And statists, they're basically the same coin with, you know, two different sides, heads, or one's got heads and tails, but the same coin, two wings of the same bird. Where am I going? Two wings of the same bird. I'm joking, man. Don't take it too personal. But I had somebody in here yesterday all butthurt. I was just talking vaguely, you know, that I don't think you have to have a bunch of statistics and who dis. I don't think you got to have a bajillion statistics on, like if an event goes down, and you don't need to know the whole stuff. People would argue, you need to know the whole story. I get it. I get in the context of you need to know the whole story for rushing to judgment. But I don't think there's any problem with, I don't think there's any problem with rushing to judgment that an act was evil or not. And so that was my whole thing yesterday, is that these events are becoming more frequent. These violent, evil things that are taking place in America and around the world. And you don't have to be a damn scientist to notice. All you gotta do is be the average person. So to the guy that was upset that you didn't even let the bodies get cold and this and that, it's like, bro, I'm not even trying to push an agenda. I'm like one of the only people on here that's not trying to push an agenda, unless it's America first. And I won't apologize for that. I won't apologize for being, you know, a lot of people would say American nationalist or something like that. I would say American isolationist. You know, I know a lot of people put the, this hurts just to hold the phone. I need a damn phone holder. This is ridiculous. Jeez. That's a yellow light, Tony, not a damn red light. I came to a complete stop. At least I'm being safe. But you don't have to be so meticulous, this, that, and the other, to notice that the world is getting crazy, it's getting more evil. Do I have to know? You know, people just argue and argue. Everybody's in a rush to figure out who did it. And I get it. I want to know the news too. I want to know who took out Charlie Kirk. I want to know these things too. I don't think we'll ever get the answers that we want, because our government, you know, people in and out of government want to make sure that us regular folks don't know the truth about anything. That's how they keep us pissed off at each other. That's how they keep us arguing with each other. Red team, blue team, bread and circus, you know, mental Olympics, mental gymnastics for retards. They keep us at each other's throat. They keep us tribal. It only took 5 seconds and everybody on the right is already back to being tribal and fighting with each other. You know, when people get tired of fighting with the left, then they move on and they start to cannibalize. And it's the same stupid scenario in this country time and time again, where people in this country have been conditioned so much that they can't critically think anymore. And so, like, instead of somebody waiting for me to get my thought out, their first intuition is to say some stupid faggoty shit. They just can't help themselves. They gotta be a hater. It falls all the way down to the basic thing I've said about fucking posting a chainsaw video. You know, you can't even post a chainsaw video because people will pick it apart about how retarded you are, about how this and how. Everybody on the internet knows how to do everything better than the people that are posting actual content. People that actually take time out of their lives to rig up a video and put it out there. You have some jackass. I mean, that's freedom of speech. That's America. But it's devolved. And I don't even know. I use that word devolve all the time. I don't even know if that's the right word or if that's even a word. I need to Google it one day, make sure that I'm using an actual word and I didn't just make up a word. I feel like devolve is a real word, but in the same instance, I feel like it's not. But like fucking like evolution, if you believe in evolution, which I don't. I mean, I believe things evolve and animals and shit evolve, and us humans Intellectually, we're supposed to evolve, but what is the opposite of that? You know, the regression, the retardation, you know, the special mental retarded gymnastics that people propagate, participate, contemplate, and eventually just butt ate, where they just stick it up their ass and eat it because they're a bunch of homos. I mean, this country is really built on motherfuckers just arguing with each other, everybody being wrong. Like, the expense of somebody being right is to be called a whole bunch of names on the internet. And I mean, I'm not talking about hurt feelings, this, that, and the other. I could care less, right? But I just don't understand how people think we have this country here full of Americans, full of people that, you know, are all on the same team when, I mean, dude, I argue with more people on the right than I do on the left. Like, people on the left ain't even engaging anymore because they're fucking retarded. You know, like, think of like a Brooklyn Dad or that Joe bitch, that Joe bitch from Jersey, or JoJo, or whoever the fuck that dumb crackhead, that tweaker bitch is, that meth mouth whore. You know, you got like all these fucking super duper retards, and they used to just, you know, argue with people all the time. And I don't know, maybe their engagement is up with other people, but I don't really get too much engagement with people on the left anymore, because their arguments, everything that they stand for, I mean, people on the left are just ready to turn to violence because they know that everything they say and do doesn't matter. It's not true. It's retarded. It's gay. It's faggoty. Nobody wants it. And so what does the left have? The only thing the left has is violence to implement their agenda. I mean, think about it. They did it in 2020. They burned and rioted around the country, and regardless, I know they stole it. I know they stole the election, but, you know, they used all that basically to foment crazy violence against the political opposition. And most people, you know, I know a lot of people. I know people that I talk to, and they're like, the way Trump talks, and we've never had a president like this, and, you know, the things he says and does is nothing like we've ever had before. So, like, let's not do that. Let's just go down the slippery slope of communism or leftism, which is just the same gay shit. Let's go down that slope because Trump is a mean guy that says mean things. I just talked to somebody the other day who's pretty smart. You know, it's not like I don't engage with dumb people. I try to engage with smart people, or people that I perceive as smart. And all of them just ain't radical enough for me, you know? It's like they lean like to the center, to the left of center, maybe a smidge to the right of center. And then here I am all the way to the right, dude. You know, I mean, people would say all the way to the right is like, would be right statism or fascism or something like that, but I don't mean there, you know. I mean, you know, crack people over the heads with a sledgehammer for the Constitution and Christ. You know, to me, that is I gotta keep looking at the phones. I don't know how the service is through here, but yeah, liberty for all. I fear, dude, that I never actually really feared a whole lot. I mean, I knew like the fucking country was gonna fall apart. I knew that we were gonna stop getting along, that we'd probably eventually fighting our own brothers and sisters in the streets, quite possibly. But dude, Israel is just like the ultimate bad guy in every movie we've ever watched, you know? As if like just having Israel and getting all of Israel and you know, ethnically cleansing those lands of people would be enough. No. Israel has so much of a bigger plan. You know, like, Israel talks shit. They got Bibi on tape talking shit about how he controls Clinton and the U.S., this, that, and the other. I think there's a similar insinuation that he runs Trump, right? And so Bibi has to come out on TV and say, oh, no, I would never boss Trump around. I don't think I'm Trump's daddy. I don't think that I'm in control of the U. He's got to come out and make a statement because, dude, we know. And, that's been the worst thing, I guess, the scariest thing about this whole thing is that Trump would, number one, unleash Israel on the world. If they were on a leash, they're definitely not on a leash anymore. They'll do whatever they want to do. And so make sure that I have to manually go back in and turn the comments on this video when they kick this one down too. But I'm not even out here saying nothing crazy. I'm not advocating for violence. I'm not saying anything crazy. All I'm saying is what I noticed with my two eyes. And it's crazy because they say, like the Gen Z folks and I guess the underlings of them, whatever that is it Gen Alpha or whatever? Gen Z, I mean, the great noticing of all this stuff that's going on. So they say some millennials, I'm a millennial, and I don't know, man. I guess I forget when the end of the millennial came. But I graduated in 2000, so I don't know if it was just after that or what. Somebody schooled me, but I tend to probably think more like a younger person than an older person, than an older millennial. I probably, obviously think like a younger millennial. I'm old enough to know that at one time in this country, homes were cheap, gas was cheap. I remember I used to go to, AFL-CIOs with my dad. My dad was a cop in Vegas, and they were unionized. And I want to say it was AFL-CIO dealios that we used to go to. I used to think they were the coolest thing. Like, it's basically like a union convention in Vegas of that group. Don't ask me what all that is. I have no idea what all that shit is. All I know is that it has something to do with the unions. They would get together, they'd put on things, people would bring out the family, the kids, and they'd have a bunch of goodies, a bunch of swag. They'd have, stickers and pencils and pens, and I remember they had them, what was it? It was like a little sponge, and you wet it, and it blows up into a full-size sponge, and then it says, like, AFL-CIO on it, And I remember at those things that they would have a piece of paper. I don't know what the whole context of it was. I'd have to think kind of hard here, but what up Idle Time? What up Liberty for All? They would have paper saying, this date in 1966, a loaf of bread cost, a gallon of gas cost, a new car cost, a new home cost, and it, the number one song in such year was Elvis Presley, Blue Suede Shoes or whatever. So they would have those things there, and we would go to those AFL-CIO union dealios here and there. And I remember as a kid it was cool because you got all this free shit. But I remember looking at the prices of stuff as a kid being like, damn, in the 90s a gallon of gas was like 90 cents. I think the lowest I ever seen was like 92 cents. The highest I ever saw in those years was like 98, 99 cents. If you saw somewhere that had 98 cents, 99 cents, you were trying to go to a gas station that had it for like 95 cents. Oh, dude, it's so sunshiny here, Idle Time. It's so blue and so sunshiny. There's some random ass clouds in the sky, but it's beautiful here. It's been beautiful here. Love springtime in Arkansas. I just spilled water everywhere and on my horn. And so I don't know where I'm going with this, but I kind of do. So all those prices, I could see them as a kid, and it's like you looked at the paper and it was like, 15 cents for a gallon of gas, and this month, this day of this year, a loaf of bread costs, fucking 50 cents or whatever, and they had all this stuff, and you're in the 90s, you're thinking, damn, everything is like double or triple what it was in said year. But still now you look back, what up, Mr. LBSRDI? So you would look at that back then, you'd be like, damn, prices had double, tripled. But now you look back at it and you're like, dude, that's not that bad. I'd go back to 90-cent gas. I'd go back to whatever we paid for a loaf of bread. I'm thinking it was probably like $1, right? A medium household income, I don't know, but let me just throw a crazy number out there. 100,000, right? Brand new car, right? Cost $25,000. Fast forward to 2025, and that same house is now $425,000. That $25,000 car is $125,000. And you could look it up. Brand new truck with all the bells and the whistles, and it don't even have to be a truck. It could be an SUV. There's a bunch out there that is over $100,000 when it's all said and done. Tax, title, fees before you even get to insurance. A loaf of bread now, dude. Loaf of bread is not under what? Good bread that's not shit bread, is like what? $3.50, $4 a loaf. A good loaf of bread's probably what? $5. I could go on and on and on and on, and I don't know where I was going with this because I just got too long-winded, but I identify, I guess, as being younger than I do older. I just turned 43. I don't know what folks' opinion on this. I live around a lot of very elderly folks out here in the area I live in. So when you talk to them folks, they're like, "Oh, you're a young boy." They really pump you up with being young like that. And I know the feeling, because when I run into somebody who's in their 20s or 30s now, I'm like, dude, you're a young motherfucker. Get it together now so you don't have to be 43 trying to figure it out. Because I'm 43 just barely getting everything figured out. Just buying my first house. You know what I mean? Just now settling into the right life with a wife and a kid and not being a retard, So I identify with that. I was actually, when I was thinking about doing this chat today, I was going to talk about old people, young people. How boring is the fucking... And I mean, let me just finish up on that, and then I'll go into how boring radio is, right? It's crazy where this is going, folks. I think a total totalitarian state. If it's the Republicans, we go balls to the walls with cops in the streets, National Guard everywhere. Organizations on the left targeted as terrorist organizations. As soon as the pendulum swings and we go back to having somebody left in there, what up, Tim? The pendulum swings and the same thing is done to us. Any little group that you're going to be part of will be designated a terrorist organization. They'll bypass your constitutional rights, and you'll totally be fucked. And so the slope that we've been walking for a long time, the country's changed a lot in just the 14, 15 years that I've been doing this on the internet, and not for the better. So it's very scary where this is leading. I think a big schism within our country is between the old and young. And, the old folks in this country are the people that are keeping legacy media alive, watching and listening and supporting bullshit-ass mainstream media, right? They're the ones also supporting bullshit-ass talk radio. Talk radio is bullshit now. I really, and I don't care how much heat I take for this, I really liked Rush Limbaugh. I came into Rush towards the end before he was ended up dying or whatever. I think I started listening to Rush, and it was probably Trump had just become president or was about to become or something like that, but it was around that time. I really liked Rush for all his faults and everything. I really hate how people beat on people, especially people that aren't around anymore. I try to check myself on some of that too. Beat up a guy that, motherfucker, we're all humans. You would say, some fucking asshole would say, oh, he did this and he did that. Motherfucker, you are a human. You are fallible. You are the only one you're not the only one, but you're one standing above somebody else's, whatever their legacy is, whether they're famous or not famous, standing above them, judging, fomenting bullshit. And dude, you're only saying that because we cannot peer into your past. I talk a lot of shit. And I'm okay that when people dig up my past, find out what kind of piece of shit I was before, whether I'm still alive or I'm dead. We're all fucking scumbags at one time or another. We're all led down the wrong way one time. And so none of us are perfect. And so I'm guilty of it too, to stand up there and talk shit about people and judge people. And I feel horrible. That's the thing. You know, I talk to people. I even talked about my own mother. I tell her, you know, before I came to Arkansas, I talked about people, gossip, you know, because that's what we do in the city. That's what we do in Vegas. That's what my peers do. That's what the people I surround myself with. That's what people in the city do. It's just part of it. People in the country gossip too. There's a much more cynical, insidious purpose to it in the city, I think, than in the country. People do it in the country because they ain't got shit to do. They got shit to do, but they just acting like they ain't got shit to do. And so the fucking judging, the constant judging, I was the guiltiest of that before coming out here. I've really whipped myself into shape, and I wouldn't even say Arkansas whipped me into shape. You know, I see husbands and fathers and, you know, grandfathers and role models. I see the good, the bad, the ugly, just like everywhere. But predominantly, you know, men want to be in their traditional roles, doing what they're supposed to out here. Women are in their traditional roles for the most part out here. And everybody's operating like a team. There is divorce. There is cheating. There is scandal. Yes, this place is not immune from that. But it's not the status quo out here. You know, those kind of people are almost looked at as, they're looked at almost the same way as like the local fucking crackhead, you know? I mean, there is some grace there, I'm sure, for folks, but not when it's the repeat cycle all the time, you know? You go through trial and tribulation and you still come out on the other end a big pile of shit. I mean, that's all what it's really about. When we go through these trials and tribulations, when we go through these things, how do we come out on the other end? That's the important thing. How ourselves, how do we look back at the actions that we've done, or, you know, the actions we've taken, just the different things that we've done in our lives, look back at it and critique it ourselves. We should spend more time critiquing ourselves than we do sitting around critiquing others. And I'll be the first to be in line to sign up for that membership to be a better person and not do those kind of things. I'm at a stoplight. Let me see if I can read some of these comments. Yep, cell phones for sure. Yeah, Michael Savage was another one. Yeah, so you're just 3 years older than me, and Idol's looks like 6 years older than me. Yeah, I would say my biggest influences were definitely Rush and Michael Savage. I love Michael Savage to death. I will tell you that right now. I don't love everything he says. He says some off-the-wall shit sometimes, but he's Jewish, I believe. What up, Chad? And so, you know, but I don't believe he's a Zionist. I believe that he's firmly against that, but he still takes those positions. As much as I love Michael Savage, and the funny thing about Michael Savage, he's been the same old looking man that he is, like the age he is right now in 2025, since like I can remember. Since I found Michael Savage, he hasn't aged in 15 years. So I love Michael Savage for all his faults, with all his faults, however you say it. I need to go get some freaking lumber and do some projects. I just don't feel like it. I got other shit I gotta do. I guess I will. I gotta go into Lowe's and... I don't really want to do it, but I need to do something. I got a situation with chickens and all that kind of shit. So, I don't know, man. I think that we all could be better, myself included, on the things I say and do when it comes to other people, you know. And I'd even challenge people to, you know, ask yourself, who am I? Who am I to be the Mr. Judger of everybody? Who am I to be some fucking guy that sits around and my shit don't stink. I know what's the right way for every little thing, and nobody else knows nothing because I'm king ding-a-ling and nobody knows. I hate that. I don't even know how I could feel good about myself. I don't know how you could feel good about yourself either. I take no pride in, you know, shitting on good people. I do take pride in shitting on shitty people. But you know, I mean, it's not any better. And so I've talked about it for weeks in these chats since Charlie Kirk. I mean, all we could try to do is just be better people. All we could try to do is practice what we preach. All we could do is try to practice what our pastors teach. You know, we could just try to be way better people. And I mean, that's what it's really about, as far as me having all the answers to everything or knowing what's right or wrong. I mean, we know what's right or wrong. We know who the bad guys are. I think we know nothing will happen because we're just the state of affairs, the state of the country, state of the world, the way that things are. You know, there's no accountability for people's bad, poor, piss poor decisions they make. It's just a free-for-all on people being retarded, someone standing there pointing out how retarded somebody is. I don't really necessarily think there's anything terribly wrong with that, but I think a lot of times, most of the time, we're just shitting on people, alive or dead, whether it's politics or the guy making a chainsaw video. And it's like, dude, ask yourself the question, what the fuck have you done? I even ask myself, what the fuck has Tony done to be, king ding-a-ling swinging? I'm no better than anybody else. I talk, I cuss. Well, everybody talks. I cuss. I call people faggots. I do things as far as words. And so, doesn't mean I'm correct. Doesn't mean I'm right. And I'll be the first to admit that. So just, I guess, trying to be better people is the best we can do. The world is insidious. There's insidious plans for us regular people, us peasants. And it can be very scary not knowing kind of what the future is going to be. Especially, I think, when our leaders ain't there. I mean, they don't show us any type of... They just don't show us any type of good direction. There's nothing to look forward to. I mean, we're not catapulting to we might be catapulting towards a mass wake up. I would say we're not catapulting, like a rocket in innovation. Everything is like, it's like a new cell phone and they added some more cameras and some more surveillance tech to it. And that's innovation. That's the next level. That's the future. More technological control over the people. I just think we're just in one of those situations where all we can try to do is be better people ourselves in our circles, hold ourselves accountable, hold the people around us accountable, try to be prepped for whatever comes next, because it just cannot be good. Whatever it is, it cannot be good. So with that said, I'm going to check here in a little bit, make sure the comments are still on this. But I hope everybody has a good Monday. Are we on Monday? Have a great Monday. Hope everybody has a blessed week. Go forward with, the word of God to keep you strong, to keep you disciplined, and maybe to be able to help somebody out there in the future. Because we're all going through it. We're all going through shit. I don't think any of us, some of us have it harder than each other. But, pity parties are no way to get to the next level. So I hope everybody has a great one out there. I'll be popping in throughout the week because, this is meditation for me. This is what helps me, get a message out there. And why hold all this in? Makes no sense. So shout out to y'all. Liberty for all, Chad Idol, Mr. LBSRDI. Tim Purcell, the silent one, Goose with the 67. I'm out. Peace.